But anyway,
I like it.
Lito Sheppard.
Hey man, this is pretty. So what is it? PG-13? Is it rated R? I mean,
it's rated
Whatever you want.
not X, unless you brought some friends. But no, we're just chilling.
All right,
It's
so I don't have to bleep out anything, and
No.
just keep it natural and 100. That's
no
what it is.
bleep. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't think this man needs any introduction at all. Lito Sheppard, Pro Bowl cornerback, Philadelphia Eagles. Who else you played for? Oakland Raiders last year.
All pro. Let's start with that.
All
one.
pro. All pro.
I did 1 year.
Jets.
Well, with the Eagles.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jets, Vikings, Raiders,
That's right. The Vikings.
Eagles
too.
was my heart. I spent 7 years here,
No doubt.
so it's all
No
love.
doubt. Well, welcome back to town. We're
Awesome.
very excited to have you in this
Yeah.
studio. The man,
Yeah,
the myth, the
man.
legend.
This is live, man. This is, I have to say, the best studio I've been in.
How about
Nice.
that? How
Like,
about
for
that?
real. Yeah. I'm impressed.
I appreciate
Seriously.
it. I appreciate
yeah.
it.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
High tech shit, man.
I can't really.
It's like the Batcave.
I can't take too much credit for any of this. I just kind of sat in places and just said, "All right, the lighting looks good there. Okay,
He's like, buy whatever you need.
yeah,
Like,
check.
should have
Cash.
told me that.
Right. Nah, man, y'all guys did a great job, man. Like I say,
appreciate it.
yeah, I'm impressed.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Nice, nice.
So,
So-
go ahead.
Yeah, get rolling.
All right, let's talk a little bit about you. Born and raised in Jacksonville.
Jacksonville, Florida. I'm a Florida kid, man.
So when did you first pick up the football?
I've always played football.
Okay.
I'll say that. In Florida, we played a lot of outside ball. Not Pop Warner. We did have Pop Warner, but I didn't play Pop Warner. I was my neighborhood. We only had one team, and that team was like 3 ages older than I was at the time that I was able to play. But I played a lot of sandlot growing up, tackling the grass, touching the street type stuff. But believe it or not, football was just a pastime. Like I really didn't focus on football. Like I was destined to be a basketball player. like basketball was my dream, man. I eat, dream, sleep, basketball every day, and I did that all the way up until probably my 10th grade, 11th grade year area. Okay. And my whole life changed.
No shit. So what was that moment where you're like, you know what? All right, this is gonna be something for me.
I didn't really realize it until it happened over the course of a year, over the course of that 11th grade season of mine. Just from the beginning of it, it was my first year playing football on varsity, and let alone I played some JV. I was in 2 games in JV at my previous school. I had to miss my whole 10th grade year of football due to transferring and just living conditions. You have to live in the area, where you go to school. So just jurisdiction restrictions, I couldn't play 10th grade. So 11th grade was my first year of really stepping on the football field. So I was an unknown, the team knew me from, trying out that year and becoming a starter. But that was like the beginning. I didn't realize what I had until I consistently did it over and over again.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, that was just that year. I think that 11th grade year is kind of when things started to become realistic. It wasn't like I was thinking about the pros or anything.
Okay.
But it was like, I'm getting some offers. I'm getting a lot of attention from colleges. I might have something here.
Yeah.
This might could be something.
So you're sticking out on the high school team. You start getting looks.
Yeah, and that's actually that year because I was basketball all the way through 10th grade. I mean, my 6th grade year I was MVP. I couldn't play 6th grade. 7th grade year MVP on the team. 8th grade year MVP. 9th grade year I couldn't play basketball due to some issues and grades. And then 10th grade I was able to get back out there and got MVP. It was just I was a pretty complete player. I was fast, athletic, but the only problem was I was 5'10" and a half. So when I got to 11th grade, it was like, okay, what's the realistic chances or percentages that I can make it to the NBA?
Right.
I was like, well, how many people on the NBA roster?
Right.
Then
Right.
I'm starting to get some attention to football. How many
Sure.
people on the NFL roster? So it was that simple, honestly. In my mind during that time, it was like, you know what? Let me just focus on what's giving me the attention and
Right.
see how it ends up. Yeah.
So was it a lot of discipline, or was it just a lot of natural ability, or combination thereof?
When you say, okay, to do what? I mean, to get to the pros from that mindset?
All right, let's say obviously, high school to college is a big step, especially D1, right, where you're at.
Yeah.
Gators.
Yeah, I mean, might add, I eventually, over the course of those 2 years, 11th and 12th grade year, I became the number 1 defensive back in the nation coming out, USA Today.
Wow.
So I was the number 1 cornerback in the nation coming out. So I had my selection of schools.
Right.
But yeah, it still wasn't a set thing though. Like it was just like, okay, I'm pretty athletic. I got a lot of numbers, and they see something. So Florida was probably it's funny. So that's my school, and I love it to death. But it was probably the worst recruiting visit when it comes to how they try to impress you,
Really?
or how they try to grab hold to you, so to say.
So why said what made them? What made them? Well, how'd you get that impression of it?
I mean, just visiting other schools.
Okay. All right. You're getting the red carpet everywhere else.
Right, they do the red carpet to the college football standard.
Right.
Like it's a standard of operation. But when you really want something, you put a little extra into it. You know what I'm saying? So I just they just didn't put a little extra into it, so but they I don't know if they realized it or not, but they already had the upper hand, just being in Jacksonville, Florida, and Gainesville was an hour 15 minutes doorstep to doorstep.
Yeah.
Along with the track record of quality of college and the programs, it was like I can go to Florida or I can go somewhere 3, 4, 5 hours away and hope that my family is able to get there on a weekly basis. Even if I needed anything, I was like an hour away home, so I was like, I could shoot home. So that was already my thinking in mind to stay close to home.
Yeah.
Right. So they really didn't have to do much work. So yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So doing incredibly well at Florida. I'm just looking at the highlight reels of your interception against Georgia. That was
Hey, so
bro.
well, no, all that is perfect, but I tell you, it didn't start off that way.
Okay.
Like my
Go through
freshman,
it.
so
Tell
I
us.
was a true freshman,
All right.
playing at Florida, but and I did 3 years. I was a true junior when I left, so I did 3 years at Florida.
Okay.
Now my first year, I thought they was gonna send me back home, like dead serious.
Really?
Like I said, I'm I was not bragging, but just acknowledging I was the number 1 DB coming in. In the nation coming into college that year. So I was very immature to the sense of the speed of the game.
Okay.
And sometimes you just have to experience things in order to really understand the difference, So, and that's kind of what happened. I did well leading up to the beginning of the seasons and practices. I was doing my thing. And, the first game of the season. I didn't go in as a starter, at first, but I was capable of. But I didn't go in for good reasons, I guess. But my first action in any game, I remember this. We were, I think it was maybe Central Florida at the time. Maybe I think that's who we played, Central Florida, and got in probably like a couple plays in the first quarter, and when you're at a University of Florida school and mindset, you don't necessarily think that the other colleges that are D2, AA, or smaller than a big university, you like, oh, these guys are not that good. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just so it was a valuable lesson I learned early in my career. Never underestimate any player, regardless of the team or the school or the the logo in that respect. So that was my number 1 mistake. So just having that mindset and just not having the right intensity level when I stepped on that field, it seemed like regardless of what I was doing, I was in slow motion. You know, like, so the first play, the first series, it didn't happen in the first play. It was like in the first series or whatnot. And I was in cover 3 off coverage. I gave up a simple slant. Missed the tackle. Guy ran it for like 60-some yards for a touchdown. Big play. First action I get. I give up a big play for a touchdown. So, obviously, you know, that didn't go well, right? So, came out that game. That was like the second game of the season, let's say. That second game of the season. I didn't see the field anymore my freshman year for like 9 weeks.
Wow. Were you hungry to get back on that field?
I was hungry after about week 3 or 4.
Yeah, I would
you know,
imagine.
like, I mean, because, you know, I learned my lesson. I was busting my behind, but I couldn't and I didn't have the opportunity in that situation again for whatever reasons to prove that I was ready, you know, to get back in, so to say, you know, like, so it took an injury. Like, it literally took an injury, like I say, about 9 weeks through. It was week 10 and 11 in the season that year. I done wasted a whole, you know, freshman year because I played in the first 2 games. And, you know, so I can't redshirt, but I didn't play any. So I'm like, well, fuck, I done wasted a year. Like, damn, you know. So it just so happened, I remember the game, Vanderbilt. It was probably week 10, 11, something, college football. But we played against Vanderbilt. You know, Vanderbilt is one of those schools not really good in football, maybe produce a half a pro player a year, you know. But they always play Florida tough. Like, we never blow them out. Like, I mean, it might be 14-zip type game.
Sure.
You know, it was always a dog
Boring
fight.
college game.
Yeah. So we're in another dog fight with Vanderbilt. First quarter, okay, I finally earned a little bit of respect as far as trying to get back on the field, but it's on special teams. So, coach, I finally
However
get back in. Right, exactly. However it works. I was on the front line of, it was punt block. No, it was field goal block.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. It was punt block. I wasn't the returner. I was on the block team on the front, right? So just so happened first quarter, I get in there, boom, and block a punt early in the game. It was like the first sign. Right. It was like, yes, I finally did something positive.
Sure.
You know, I made a play. You know, like, it's like they got this high draft pick, and he's finally making a play.
Right.
You know, so that's kind of what the moment was. You know, like, okay, I get in there and block a punt. Boom. That's in the first quarter. Okay, feeling good about myself. Don't get in the game yet, though. So, game continues. It's a dog fight. One of the corners go down in the fourth quarter. True story. I got this game on film. Go down in the fourth quarter. Vanderbilt's driving. You know, we're up by like a score at late in the game, and they're driving. So we got to hold them to win the game. It's like third down, and they're inside about a 50-yard line going in. So first play I get in the game after the injury timeout or whatnot. Obviously they know the corner went down and somebody else coming in. Before the play even starts, when I get in the huddle, I never forget it. One of my ex-teammates, and he played in the league. He was a top draft pick, Gerard Warren. I never forget it. Okay. Big money. That's what we called him, right? So,
Big money.
I never forget it. So, you know, just it was an intense dog fight. So I get in that huddle, and there was a lot of bleeping going on. He was like, you know, such freshman, don't you get your ass here and fuck up our game.
Yeah,
you know, that type of stuff. You know, just big ass, you know.
Make it real for you.
Right,
Absolutely.
you know, so I'm like, all right, shit, I'm ready. You know, fuck, I'm ready. You know, let's do it. So, okay, I'll be damned. First play I get in there, right? The fuckers throw at me. They run a post corner on me, man. Like, you know, and I'm still fresh, you know, so I'm in the cover 3. He catches this post corner. It's about a 20-yard pass, right? So I'm still on top. I'm coming back down. I go to make a tackle. And as I'm making the tackle, I strip the ball, make him fumble. I recover it.
No shit.
Nice.
It was the game changer of my career.
Really?
Wow.
That
the
game,
moment.
that play, that was the moment that
No
it
shit.
clicked.
Vanderbilt made you, huh?
It clicked.
Wow.
After that, everything skyrocketed.
Wow.
The next games I played in Florida, everything was just.
You had it.
I had it.
Yep.
I had it.
Awesome.
That's wild.
And it was just one of those things. I was like, fuck, you know.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as I get in though, this dude run a post cone on me. He catches the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I can see on the sidelines how just everything deflated. Like it's like, like you know, like it's deflated. It's on my sideline, and as I'm going up, and that's really I think what made me just be relentless in trying to strip the ball, like because I just saw it, and I know in my mind I'm thinking like, fuck, like it just caught this pass. I just got in, like it was just it was like a million things going on, and it just made me like, fuck it, like I got to do everything I can.
Yeah.
And it worked out, man. I stripped that damn ball, recovered it, and the rest is history.
I know a lot of pro athletes talk about, being not necessarily in a zone, but things slow down for you at certain times. Did you experience that?
A couple times.
Yeah. Where like you could feel
It's
everything.
hard to explain it that way, but looking back at some of those moments, man, it's just hard to explain how they even happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what you did to prepare for it. You see it happening. I know on a couple of my interceptions, a couple of them was just pure film study.
Mm-hmm.
Just seeing that play, seeing the offense run
Repetition.
that same play.
Wow.
And the unique part about film study is when it happens, you have to be alert to it because it happens pretty much the same times that it happened in film. Third and short. Like certain plays, teams have confidence in.
Mm-hmm.
Certain players, but they don't always go to the well. Like they might run the same play 4 times a year.
Right.
But
if you can pick up those cues.
right, but
Yeah.
it's always in critical situations.
Understood.
And I learned this from actually losing a little bit. But situational football, if you can master situational football, you will win a lot of games.
Yeah.
Even if you're outmanned as far as talent. Like,
Understood.
and New England Patriots did a great job of managing and winning situational moments within the game.
Yeah.
Whether it's how many first downs you get, or if it's if I win in this yard gaining category,
Right.
If it's. And when you break down the game, it's so many. Right, exactly.
Yeah. Exactly.
There's so many small key points to it statistically that will win football games.
Yeah.
If you get 50 rushing yards and 30 passing yards, however the algorithm is.
Yeah.
Within the 3 phases of football, you have a high percentage of winning when you do X, Y, and Z.
Sure.
I'll never forget the Atlanta Super Bowl when the comeback, the best comeback ever in history, Super Bowl. And I was in Breckenridge, and I refused to leave the bar. It was like, screw this, let's go do something else, whatever. It's over.
Oh,
Like,
nay.
I am going to sit here and watch Tom Brady march down the field in the second half, and it was just did it with soldier, like a general, just executing on a battlefield.
It's amazing how it happens.
Yeah.
In the heat of the moment, it's hard to stop a snowball rolling downhill.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's kind of how, prime example, even just some of the plays that I made throughout my career, a lot of my interceptions came in the fourth quarter, last drives where it can go either way. So, and those are like those situational moments in football to where if you can win the situational football battles, all the other stuff is just stats in the game.
Yeah, right.
Like it's how many critical third downs you have, how many fourth downs you go for, like when you're in the red zone, and you actually attempt to score, like how many times you convert or not, all of that stuff. Like, so I always try to, I couldn't remember every fucking thing. I mean, shit.
Sure.
You got 70, 80 plays in a game. But if I can take 5 moments that I saw repeatedly and remember them and focus on them,
Yep.
I always try to remember and capitalize on those plays. Yep.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Could you talk a little bit about the difference of intensity between college and pro?
Oh, man. let's see. When we talk about the speed of the game, it's hard to explain that unless you experience it. But if I had to put it in an analogy or something, I'm trying to figure out like it's just like a sports car with speed. Like if you got a 500 horsepower car, say that's high school. Whereas college may be you jump into a Hellcat now,
right.
But then you get to the pros. Well, you full out NASCAR, man. You're amongst the best of the best, the biggest of the biggest, the strongest of the strongest.
Yeah.
And the TV really don't give it and do it justice, just like with NASCARs. I mean, you see a race on TV and the cars going around,
right?
But that never puts it in perspective of when you're on that track and feeling it and hearing it. Like, those cars are fucking moving. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's the same thing with respect to football. People don't realize how big and strong those guys are, man. Like
big too,
right? That's what I'm saying. Like,
huge.
This is
crazy.
Some of those guys, feel like this table. So just with muscle density and just things of that nature. So it's just one of those things that it's a serious game. But the speed, I mean, it's just hard to compare. I mean, that's really why you can't go from high school to the pros in football,
right?
Because just the intensity and the strength difference.
Sure.
So
after football,
right.
Like, what do you do? What are you doing?
That's a funny question right there. I tell you what, it just hit me like. It just hit me like a loaded potato right there. So, I got a lot of mixed emotions, but I'll give you a little. Okay, so first, I got some relationship issues.
Okay.
About to get, be divorced, but that's not a bad thing. That's but
fair enough.
It's not a good thing either. So I don't want to.
It's just a thing. It's a thing.
Just a thing.
It's a thing.
But I say that because it gave me a lot of time to do some soul searching,
Perspective.
Right, put things in perspective, and I had to kind of find new hobbies or different things to take up some time productively. So I got a lot of hobbies, but I started a car club with a couple guys, and we're a Mopar club.
Okay.
And it's a pretty damn good thing. We're based out of Jacksonville. Dash out Jacks.
Okay.
We're a Mopar club, and we're consisting of only. So we're pretty bougie in this area. So we set a standard as far as the type of cars. So even though we're Mopar, so we're Charger, Challenger, Trackhawk, Mopar. So, but the thing is, we only allow 392s, Scat Packs, and higher and better. So it's pretty much a $50,000 entry fee.
Yeah. Right.
So that's pretty much the standard. And I have a Hellcat myself, and we have a couple guys with some Demons, some Red Eyes. We got some Trackhawks in the crew, and we do a number of things, man. We're fairly new in respect to structure and just seniority as far as being recognized in that area. But we got a lot of good things going, man. We try to do a lot of community work. We do some backpack drives.
That's cool.
We go try to help out homeless people when
Cool.
we can. We just don't want to give a bad connotation because we do tear up the streets a little bit, but we try to do it responsible. We try to do things that where we can keep everybody safe, but give everybody an outlet to express themselves and just have some fun in the city. And it don't always get reviewed and looked at as such, but we're definitely trying to change the theme and do some positive things in the city.
That's
so
cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Community outreach is a smart idea.
Yeah,
When you were in Philly, did you ever go to the races?
Well, I was in Jersey, so I used to go to Atco all the time.
Oh, sure,
though.
Atco,
Yeah. So when I was in Jersey, I lived in Sicklerville for 3 years.
Okay.
And when I was in Sicklerville, I mean, I'm retired now, but I used to have a couple motorcycles, and I had a twin turbo Z06, and I used to really go down to the track and get some practice.
Right.
It just didn't happen overnight, and I
Sure.
tell people that even when they see me drive now, it's not a reckless thing. No, I've had years and years of practice,
Right.
and not just at the drag strip track. Just playing with the Eagles, I've had 5 or 6 different occasions where we were able to go to like Dover Downs, what is the Blue Monster, and Poconos. Like we went to the different raceways, and I've drove and driven NASCARs on like 3 different occasions. I've done the NASCAR trucks a couple different occasions.
No shit.
So it's just like it's a real hobby, you know. It's a real thing. I've done some defensive driving classes, some race tactic drive. Like I've done a lot of different things to
some cool shit.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
Like, especially when you got a nice, muscle car. You know? I was looking at I want to give a shout out to Dodge too. I'm not getting paid by Dodge, but maybe we can work something out. But they've done a great job, man. And I listened to one of their I guess I would call it a mission statement moving forward. Of how they're gonna incorporate electric motor push and electric consumption push with their theme of muscle car and motor and pure power, and just thinking about what some of the other supercar makers are doing with the twin motors type, the electric and gas. Sure. I mean, they're producing 8,000 type horsepower with some of that combination stuff. So I can only imagine what Dodge is about to come out with. Yeah. And in all respect, they're going to continue to have their unique, muscle car generation of people. Sure, and, so that's going to be a unique thing to get into. So Dodge, I mean, if y'all hearing me, hey, man, we got some pull, baby. We got some pull.
That's all I've been driving, truck-wise, and they're just, I mean, the Hemi in this case, but they just move, man. Yeah. And, I mean, I can just punch it getting on 95. Like, now I have traction control because I have a 2020, but my old truck, I break the wheels loose. Like, it's like.
That's when you're really driving.
I mean to, You're
not driving unless the wheels are breaking, man.
It's crazy, but. And their whole thing, no replacement for displacement, right? These big ass motors.
I mean,
cars,
because if honest to God, it's such a free will country and a free choice. Yep. Yeah. If you don't want to complain about the gas or the horsepower, hey, go buy your a Kia or something. Yeah, a Corolla. Right. Yeah. Whatever the 35, 40 miles per hour. I mean, gas. Per gallon type vehicles are. But you're always gonna have. I mean, regardless of. I think about Waterworld sometimes. The movie Waterworld. Yeah. It's like, it's hard to fathom us not having a resource like gasoline in that respect, but you never know. But the thing is, I don't think it happened in my lifetime. Regardless of how much or less it costs. But at the end of the day, those are gonna be some valuable antique items, man. The way the world is forever evolving, it's just some things you can't replace.
Have you been in the Tesla?
I have, and
what do you think of it?
I got mixed emotions, man. Yeah. I mean,
I hear that a lot.
Yeah, it's simple, it's plain, it's sleek, it's clean.
It feels like a space.
It's
so fast, but where's that throatiness? Right?
Yeah, it's one of those. I think, obviously it has its place here. It's one of those things that's not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. But, just like Range Rovers and, some Toyotas and Lexuses, you just have your committed customers that just, love that brand,
Great.
So
it's like I'm a huge so Elon Musk is like my favorite like person on this earth, and maybe eventually Mars, right? So if he doesn't like blow himself up going there, but we and I've been in a Model S with ludicrous mode, and it's I'm like, you fucking kidding me? Like we're already here, like electric can go this fast and snap my neck, because I had a GMC Typhoon. All-wheel drive.
I remember that.
Yeah, and I put a T63, a Garrett, fucking Grand National turbo in this thing. Yeah. And I'd leave at 20 pounds of boost, and I remember my boy Jody, big guy, was sitting in the passenger seat and literally broke where the chair came off the body, pulled the bolt out, because I was when you leave with 20 pounds of boost on a turbo this big, with all-wheel drive, the thing would just take off and you would snap your neck. Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
I have not felt that feeling since until like I was in like you know, a Model S with ludicrous mode. But so it's like part of me's like, oh yeah, fuck yeah. Like the Model 3, whatever. Like that's for like, you know, Holly Homemaker, whatever.
Yeah.
That's cool. I would only get a Model S or like maybe the Cybertruck or something like that, the 3 motor.
Yeah.
Drive motor. But it's to me, like having driven real cars, I will always have a combustion engine vehicle. You know what I mean? In my opinion, but if I'm rolling out to dinner downtown, you know what I mean, or something like that, I rock a Tesla. You know what I mean?
I got you.
It's a hard call, but you know, I want to be responsible environmentally as well. You know,
and I think that's perfectly said though, because I think if in the perfect world, if you can pick like one of everything you want, I think you gotta have a Tesla. Yeah, you know, I think most rich people have one. So
I drive a 1 mile per hour Grady White fishing boat, so I'm not overly too worried about the gas thing.
Well, and not only that, I mean, I think it shows. You got to stay within a certain limit, though. You know, like when you have those cars, it's mostly you got to most doctors because they, you know, you drive them to and from work, keep them parked, you can plug them up. You know, and you know, I'll tell you what's new though, that like gas stations. Okay, well, what you gonna have plug stations? You know what I'm saying?
Seen them everywhere.
That's gonna be the next thing. I mean, at the end of the day, because you know, it just seems like they're pushing more electricity and electric use type stuff. So at the end of the day, you know, it's gonna be a little evolution here.
You see those hookup stations popping up everywhere now.
They are getting there, and I feel like it's a whole range anxiety issue, they call it, right? And
of course, I mean,
I had an Audi. It was one of the first e-trons that came out, and I pre-ordered it, and then when I got here, I'm like, fuck, this is too small for me. But anyway, I had it for a couple of years, and you could plug it in, but it was advertised to get like 40, electric miles, and it got more like 24. And so it really kind of sucked. Though, like it was pointless.
Think about it. I thought they had already solved that recharge problem, and when I say that, what the alternator is for? You
think that should be
you know, doesn't the alternator recharges the battery as it moves, so to say?
You would think so, right? But you're doing that on gas, and when you do that, like I could do that with the Audi, but then it would eat more miles per gallon. On that Audi Boxer motor, I got 38 miles per gallon. I'm like, why do I need this? I don't even need to plug this thing in. I plugged it when I went to work at a place that had a plug-in charger. But anyway, looking at the Tesla and considering it, if you get the extended range, which like something like 70% of the people buy extended range, if I have to drive more than 300 miles, I'm getting on an airplane. No doubt. I live 2 miles from Philly International. Like, so it's like, you know, okay, 150 round trip, something like that. But, you know, it's not really a big deal.
And that's true and unique in the sense of living in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Florida, it's a whole different story.
Right, because
you want to get to Miami.
Jacksonville to Miami is 5 hours. You know, so, that's,
You're in Miami, you want to get to the Keys, that's 5 hours.
No, exactly. So, yeah.
That's a good point, Leo.
Marathon has a huge supercharging station.
Yeah. It makes sense.
About halfway.
Well, I can imagine. I mean, because for Marathon, you might, don't see anything for, 200 miles?
A big, pretty decent clip.
Cutler? You know, I know about Miami a little bit, so yeah.
I remember I was in Fort Myers at our boys' place, and I was talking to him on the phone. And he's like, "Oh, you're over on the rich side, Gold side." I'm like, "All right, I didn't know that." Okay.
Oh man, there's some like shit. This you know, Fort Myers is a nice.
I love that beach.
Nice retirement, community. Yeah.
Such an ocean guy. That's my muscle car, the ocean.
Yeah.
There you go. So what else you into? Like, some guns, huh?
Yeah, man. That's always been one of my hobbies, man. I have a small collection of about 25 or so. Yeah.
Nice.
Armory.
Well, I mean, I actually downsized.
Maybe not a Florida armory, but it's an armory.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's some. I mean, I'm fairly small compared to a lot of collectors out there. I believe it. But I try to get quality. And when I say quality, I mean, so I had this thing, and I transformed my whole collection. Like I really, my process when I first started, I started buying guns when I was 18. I started buying shotguns and rifles. Yeah. So I tried to get one of every caliber. That's what the motto and the goal was. initially.
Okay.
And then that was cool for a period of time. But then some things happened, and then I said, okay, I only want quality, and I only want big bang quality. You know, so I decided to only carry and only get handguns of 45 caliber and bigger.
Nice.
So I sold every one of my small caliber guns except for one, which is I think it's a P238 SIG. It's like a 380 and a 1911 frame.
Yeah.
So I keep that as always a side piece. Like that's always a secondary gun. You know what I'm saying? And I've been concealed carry for 19 years. I just turned 40. Since I was 21, I've always had a concealed carry throughout my career. So, you know, it's just, you know, it's a hobby. But so
It's a lifestyle.
right, it's like exactly.
It's more than a hobby.
Yeah,
That's
you're
my friend Paul
absolutely right.
tells me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And because you live it every day. I mean, you think about it, you practice it, and it's you definitely have to look at it that way.
Yeah.
So, so that's the smallest caliber I have, and that's just as a second one. But okay, now the good stuff. So what I have a pair of Desert Eagles. I have not twin, but one's matte black and one's chrome. Desert Eagle 50 cals.
Yeah, figures the one thing I have that I was going to show him. You know what I mean?
Oh man, so you got to do 50 cal. I mean, if you get a Desert Eagle, you have to do 50 cal. And that's all. That's exactly what made me mine is nickel. I said chrome, but it's nickel. Yeah. So these
Look
are.
at that. Jesus, Mary.
So
that's the combat grip.
So I don't have the combat grip on it. I might need to get it because that does help you.
What's
shoot
that weight?
these
3 pounds?
Oh, it's about 7. With the clip, about 7. Yeah. So So have you ever taken this thing apart and wax it up a little bit?
Yeah, I have a couple times. It doesn't get much action. You know what I mean? Because there's not a ton to do with it other than when I get to the mountains.
You don't see any oil on it at all.
No, that's awesome, man. Yeah.
It's nice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I always say, like, you could tell with the camera, look at that. If that was pointed at you, there's no reason I would just lay down on the ground.
Clean off.
You got to compare it to, like, sizes of an average handgun, compare it to your hand, and then, but it takes and I'm be 100% straight up with you right here. Everybody can't shoot them.
Oh,
yeah, that's true. Oh, absolutely. It's a lot harder than you think.
Yeah, and it's like a handshake, right? When you have some people that have a massive vice grip handshake, right?
Overboard.
But as a man, is still a standard of a certain pressure grip, right? Mm-hmm. Well, that 50 cal is like overkill. So if you want to compare it to a normal man handshake, let's just say a 38 revolver is an average normal man's handshake. Well, this 50 cal is like letting Adrian Peterson shake your hand. Yeah. And I don't know if you ever had,
never shook
Adrian Peterson, but
hand, no.
you can hear some stories about that dude, man. like he'll crush your fingers if you let him. You know what I'm saying? But that's what it's like shooting a 50 cal. You gotta have a strong wrist. Right. You gotta have a strong grip because it will beat you up.
Yeah, I've seen YouTube videos of people smacking themselves in the head.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it's crazy.
And with the Smith & Wesson 500.
500, yeah.
So I have one of those as well, right? So now, I don't know which one is more intense to shoot, whether the Desert Eagles or the 500. I will say this though, I used to have a featherweight Smith & Wesson 44 ultra light, right? So it was the featherweight light 44 mag. With the wood grain handle. It was a beautiful gun. It was in a normal 5-inch barrel, so it looked like a freaking bulldog. Like nice. it just was meaty, proportion, fit lovely in your hand.
But
man, listen. I got rid of that gun. I got rid of it. Like it was the most beautiful looking specimen, but for whatever reasons, in ultralight and in wood grain handle, the worst combination to absorb shock.
Oh, right.
Man.
Jump out of your hand.
Man, and with the 44 mag, it's just a bigger bang, so.
That's interesting.
Listen, that gun was by far the worst gun to shoot. Like I'm talking about, like it felt like a freaking firecracker going off in your hand every freaking time you banged it. I had to buy a glove. Like I literally had to get a glove that I kept with that gun. I would not shoot that gun without a glove on.
How often do you shoot?
I shoot quite often.
Okay.
I only put about 8 rounds through that gun before I sold it in 2.5 years.
Wow.
Like it was that hard to shoot. I tried to, I actually
Painful.
I used to use it as a joke to people. I used to let people who like to shoot, I always want to go shoot. Yeah, hey, shoot this one. Like for real. They shoot it one time, like, fuck no, like get this out of my hand, like that. Serious, like it was that tough. Like it was like dang. So 2 Desert Eagles, Smith & Wesson 500. So now I discovered this next gun company about, I want to say maybe 10 years ago, maybe 10. Yeah. Gun Crafters Industry.
Crafters?
Yep. Gun Crafters Industry. So I'm giving away one of my secrets right now, man. So they make a GI 50 cal in 1911 model frame guns. So it's not a conversion. It's a pure hand built 1911 50 cal.
Wow.
It's the same size as a normal 1911 45. And the bullets are a little different as far as how they're just a little bit bigger than the 45 in height and in width, but it's an amazing gun. So amazing that I had to get 3 of them. like dead serious. Like I'm kind of obsessive in a sense though. If I really like something, I got to get 2.
Understand.
Yeah, I hear you.
Because I always want one to keep for antique.
Right.
At least that's
Showpiece.
the right. That's the perspective of it. I want to play with one, then I want to keep one for for years to go. But and that's the same thing with these guns. That's why I got 2 Desert Eagles, and I love guns, man. I go to the range a lot. I do hunt, but I don't hunt often, and I don't hunt for fun. It's just pure to go get something to eat in that respect.
Yeah. Do whitetail or what? Sika?
I've hunted deer once, and that's all I've been deer hunting. Yeah. I've never been
as an archer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
I'm a bow hunter. I'm a crossbow hunter.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Which I just don't want to. My friends are gonna be like, yeah, he's a bow hunter, my ass. But crossbows,
it's
I only got so much time to hunt, right?
Right.
I don't have time to fucking play Robin Hood in my backyard. So
are crossbows as powerful as bows?
Oh yeah, if not more.
Really?
I get 400 feet per second. Ghost, and I can shoot that thing within 3 inches at 60 yards.
Yeah.
Well, okay, maybe not. Maybe a size of a deer kill
hit,
zone.
right,
But the hack with that is you have a longer hunting season, right? And that's why.
You do. Yeah. In Pennsylvania, you can hunt. It starts earlier.
Okay.
End of August, early September, and then it goes through. You have like breaks during like certain times.
Yeah.
After that, I think maybe the first week of shotgun. Now we're special regulation around here because the problem is so bad in Philly, outside of Philly. So we we can hunt more
for doe
more often for doe.
deer.
Yeah. It just depends. Like the seasons change.
They are
but
bad.
You
see them.
great.
You see them walking around like dead serious.
Like they own the place.
Yeah, for real.
They're not afraid of cars or anything. It's
They're
crazy.
really not.
So so it's good. I mean, last year I didn't get anything, but I got 40 the year before, and so process them depending on what's going on, like whether I got to have a job to do the next couple of days or I'm busy, I'll bring it to the butcher. Other times, me and a couple buddies will hang them and process them.
Yeah, that's how I've done.
That's fun, depending on like how many we get and whether sometimes you're like, you know what, let's just go to the bar and we'll just drop it off the butcher on the way. Other times
it is a little work now.
Yeah, it is. But it's fun, because it's that feeling of killing your own food and preparing your own food, and it's that real like what we're born to do on this earth type.
And that's what they made me do the first one I shot.
Yeah,
like you had to clean your own. They showed me, but I had to do it myself.
Where were you at?
And near Gainesville, right? Was the Newberry Archer area.
Okay.
Yeah, I was on some private land with a friend in college actually. Yeah, and they tell you don't cut too deep. Don't rupture the belly or something because oh man,
intestines.
that smell is like oh, and it's just you don't want it to get over all your stuff.
Yeah, right.
It was a learning experience, and you just gotta something you gotta experience and be capable of doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
In that respect. If you're I don't. Yeah, if you're a man's man, fuck
Right,
that, man.
right.
Shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So speaking of being a man's man,
Uh-oh.
what are some of your favorite like your joints to hang out in? You know, like bars and clubs.
Oh man, so Philly got a lot of special places, man.
I bet you've had a little time here to explore.
I did, I spent 7 years here, so I want to start with that. So let me start with that.
Okay.
I don't want to. I can't give away too many secrets.
Fair enough.
But I'll tell you a couple of little stories here, right? So let me tell you. So first of all, shout out to the Lilas, man. Shout out to the Lilas. Shout out to cheerleaders too, man. No, but those spots they've been sticking up strong, man. They were
Still there.
Yes, exactly, still there. They put out some superstars, man, just like the Eagles, man. They put some girls in the pros, man. But no, that's funny. I love bars, man. I was at Dolan's the other day, man. PJ's is that's a nice spot. I try to hit the mom and pop spots around town,
Nice.
the low key duck offs. I remember,
Duck off. I like that.
Yeah, duck offs. Yeah. I remember. I don't know if it's still open now. I just started coming back up to the area, but what was it? Warm Daddies was a nice.
Absolutely.
That place
spot.
was great.
That was
Yeah.
cool. Nice little vibe.
worked
South
with those
Street
guys.
had a lot of nice little bars and some little duck off spots, like I keep saying.
Yeah.
I
I used to work at a spot on South Street called Guru. Do you remember that?
Guru.
Yeah, it was an Asian restaurant, real small. It was cool. It was like kung fu hip hop. It was really, it was awesome. Really cool.
Yeah. Let me see. It was some little areas in what is the University City area. Yeah. I used to like that. And so let me tell you this now.
Shoot.
This is not a good thing, but this is the thing. So when I first got to Philly, it's just trying to get a feel of what's going on around. So just so happened, we stayed downtown. No, I'm sorry, not downtown. We stayed near the airport area. Residence
Southwest
Inn,
Philly,
stuff area. So that was the area I got to learn first when I first got to town. So, you start in the airport, South Philly, and you venture north from there.
Right.
So I had a lot of run-ins with the gentlemen's clubs in the area. Not bad run-ins, but just it was a lot of them that was close, convenient. Didn't have to travel too far. If I wanted to get a drink and just relax, it was a getaway. So, that's kind of where things kind of started to venture out into the city and just explore different areas.
Right.
And fortunate for me, but unfortunately, they got strip club directories around town. Like, who would have thought it? Like, really?
Welcome to Philadelphia.
You got a yellow pages with all the gentlemen's clubs, right?
Yeah. So you're starting out at the Purple Orchid, Charlie
All of them,
Springs,
man.
Right there, that little niche in Southwest, and then moving
And then
north.
you move north. You go to Spring Gardens area.
Yeah.
And then you go to Northeast. What they have a couple on Risque. Like it's a couple. And honestly, gentlemen's clubs and fine dining restaurants was the two things that really gave me culture in Philadelphia.
Sure. Yeah.
Because that was one thing that I did every week, like twice a week. I always went to one of the best restaurants.
Sure.
And I tried not to go to the same one twice before
Sure.
I ventured to something new.
Good for you, man.
And Philly is by far of where I've lived in cities is one of the most diverse but special restaurant, setups in America.
Yeah.
I love Del Frisco's.
Sure.
I love Barclay Prime. Honestly, Steak 48 now that's a new spot and it's pretty unique. I love this.
Did you go to Kansas City Prime up in Manioc back then?
Nah, it's so many
But it's
great
not there
spots.
any longer.
Yeah. So, and that's the other thing too, because a lot of the restaurants were, boutique restaurants and awesome, but they just kind of go trendy, exactly.
Yep. Yeah.
And but they all Budokan's was one. I used to definitely love. And Capitol Grill, they're unmatched too. I think we started off in Capitol Grill. You can't go wrong with Capitol Grill.
Sure.
Nope.
Great location.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Center City, and just the ambiance around town. I used to venture up Broad Street. So, you hear a lot of stories in Philadelphia when you not from here, but you move up, and just like every city, everybody always, I ain't gonna say fabricate, but exaggerate, the effect of what actually happens in the city. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it might be crime here. It's crime everywhere.
Sure.
But
yeah, sure.
It's all about how you
carry yourself.
How you carry yourself.
Yes,
how you choose to involve yourself with whatever you do. I mean, but at the end of the day, I'm just riding. I'm not out, adding any attention. But I am trying to learn, and you do want to learn about certain areas. You do want to experience them. Mm-hmm. Being from Florida, a lot of the architect was different. Just the land layout, the buildings were built different.
Yeah, more Gothic, bigger.
Yeah, I've never seen the type of buildings downtown until I got to Philadelphia. Even with the gargoyles on top, the different statues.
Florida's a lot of new construction down there.
Right, it's sleek. We got to be careful about hurricanes and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
And buildings falling down.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Just learning Philadelphia, man. I started south, obviously the practice facility and the stadium, but I started venturing north and all up Broad Street. So I don't know how many Broad Streets there are in different states and cities, but Broad Street is a really simple way to experience the middle of Philadelphia.
That's a great point.
You can go straight down Broad Street and experience a lot of Philadelphia.
Yes.
And that thing was not that thing, but that was the other thing that really was impressive. I wasn't used to like row homes and just the like I say, the style of homes and architecture. And even freaking parking in the middle of the street.
Yeah, South Philly.
So that was the other thing. Like, too, when it snowed up here, man, like, some cities, it's already tough enough to get around. Yeah. And when you got cars parked in the road and then snow, and then it's like, man, really, was I ready for this? know? But it was a cool thing. And, okay, so... yeah, I didn't just have to learn Philadelphia. So when I moved here, just with the dynamics of players and where they lived at, so South Jersey is very local to the state of Philadelphia. Sure. You know what I'm saying? So I actually lived in South Jersey while I was here, and I was in Sicklerville. Shout out to Sicklerville. You know what I'm saying? I helped raise Sicklerville. That was before they actually built up everything out there. Yeah. But they grew tremendously, from the time I got there and now however many years later. But but so South Jersey, and that was the biggest driving and traffic difference and change. Jug handles and no left turns. So Florida, I think we do things normally.
We do in PA too, but
right, in PA too, right? Yeah, you're right.
Cross that bridge, you're like, how come it was free to get to Jersey, but they charged you to come back?
Right, exactly. Yeah. That's the other thing, right? It's like, man, we don't have state to state taxes like that. Like, you go to Georgia, you just go to Georgia. But it's like, and it's went up. Like, I think it was like maybe $3-4 when I was here. But it's like $6 or something like that.
It's still $5 going across the bridge, but the AC Expressway is going up probably 40% in the last year.
Okay, yeah.
It used to be like $3. Now it's like $4.75, and but they're all just going to keep going up.
Hey man, got to keep the roads clean for me to eat up, man. But that was just a unique process of learning. Philly, Jersey at the same time.
Yeah.
And even venturing into Delaware area a little bit.
Sure.
I didn't do it much, but just West Philly and just South Philly area. Going out King of Prussia area. That's a nice. I love them all too, man.
It's nice mall.
Yeah.
Have you been there recently?
Not recently.
It's even bigger.
I've heard, and I'm scared to go now. I got to get out there. I know they got a casino now out that way or something.
The old Valley Forge Convention Center. or Meeting Center, whatever it is now, Valley Forge Casino.
They do a lot of signings there too.
Yeah, I've been to one of those,
yeah.
and that was a couple years ago though. Yeah,
Okay.
been trying to work my way back up, man. You know,
Yeah. You're coming back.
Yeah, it feels good though. You know,
I think we're gonna wind up importing you again.
you know, hey, I tell you what's misleading though, man. I'm telling y'all now. Listen, I don't know what I look like now, but I can't play anymore.
I heard
wanna say that.
over and over again last night. Like, damn, he looks like he can get in the game right now. Seriously, I heard that all night long.
You know, I'm not saying I'm not still athletic. I'm not saying that I'm not, you know, above average still, but just to the standard, and you know, unless they pay me a couple $1 million a year, you know, you know, I'll get out there and do what I can, you know. But yeah, you know, no, I just look like this. I stay in shape and you know, just try to you know, stay healthy. But nah, I can't get back out there, man. No.
That must have been a tough transition too, like doing that, you know, for the majority of your life, and then all of a sudden not. It must have been, you know, let down, but at the same time, like, all right, you know, it feels good to have some time to yourself, because that's a grueling ass schedule, and just, I mean, even your off season, you're working your ass off.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those. It's hard to explain while you're going through it, and as hard as it is to explain, you got to realize that even though you know, this is your career, this is what you're doing, when you become vested, I guess that would say, and when I say vested, when it becomes your career, like even when you make it to the NFL, it doesn't become your career, it doesn't become your lifestyle until you're in it 4 or 5 years.
Right,
you know, like, and when you feel like, okay, you're solid, now I could, you know, possibly make it to 10. You know, in that
you don't feel like an imposter,
right? You know, you have some stability. You're probably on your second deal with probably 3 years to, you know, have a little leeway. So that's that area of when you can try to transition. You know, and when I say transition, when you're at the height of your career, you have to focus on your career. You know, and that's playing football. You got to put everything into it. And within doing that, you got to trust other people to guide you in things that will benefit you for when you not playing football. You know, because you already know it's a shelf life with playing any sport. But you can't necessarily focus and be in tune to building something else all the time, technically. And you know, some guys can do it. Some guys can balance, you know, this and that, and you know, however it works. But for a lot of guys, they can't. And you know, it's not that easy when you look at different careers around, you know, the globe. Sports is the only career where like there's a shelf life and there's no transition into anything else. You know, whereas some careers you can use this degree to do this, or this degree validates that. You know, whereas you know, but sports is no transition. You know, you can get I guess special recognition. Oh, Ladybug,
get it?
Yeah.
Limelight money, and then all of a sudden it's shot, right?
Peter's going to be calling us.
Yeah, right.
The Ladybug Killer.
Isn't
there?
Killer. He still got it.
Hey.
No, but I see what you're saying. Like, you know, I don't think any pro sports does a good job of transitioning, right? It's limelight money, and then all of a sudden nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
And hopefully they're trying to, you know, come up with more creative ways to make that a better transition.
Sure.
But the thing is just you have to, and I guess we have to utilize the skill sets that it takes to do what we do every day. And those are traits, you know, in any working force, in any field, anything you do, there's certain skill sets that you have to do any job. And that's even with sports and football. I mean, you still have things you got to learn. You still have things you have to translate. You still have things you have to, in some positions, you have to be in a leadership role. You have to demand the respect of others. You have to guide others. You have to teach others. You know, like it's a lot of different traits that you have to display when you're a professional athlete. So I think if we utilize those things in the transition, and people utilize that more so than a piece of paper, a degree, because that's the X factor. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to give up their career. Nobody wants to give up their job. And even in coaching, corporate America, they don't care if, your career was that. So I'm not finna give you my job by coming into my career. So it's not an easy transition in that respect. Yeah, you'll have some guys. I mean, I guess it's even in the media field. They'll welcome one or two, sports figures into the media world, every year due to their accolades. But it's probably primarily only Hall of Fame figures.
Right.
It's very rare you get a guy that's not a Hall of Fame type player that gets into those type of situations.
Like Golick, for instance, right?
Right.
A guy like him,
and you're right. And it's a number of guys. It's about 4 or 5 that's that's not Hall of Fame type players.
I see what you're saying.
But they've been engaged in those type of areas throughout their career. Yeah. Whether it was media in college and they consistently did it throughout their NFL teams type stuff. So that's how that happens. But it's not a freebie out here, man. Yeah. Nobody's giving up their jobs, and maybe now because nobody wants to work. But true. Yeah. But so it's not, it's as loving and as welcoming as being a professional sports figure is. It's very few opportunities / careers to where you can transition. If you don't have the money to become your own boss, become your own entrepreneur entity, it's hard to make a transition. Yeah. So you basically got to create your own business after that.
Sure. Yeah. I know they're starting to try to do a better job anyway with rookies coming in and how to manage their money and whatnot, but at the same time,
even managing
there's temptations are still there, right?
Well, not even temptations. Everybody don't make a lot of money.
True.
You get it's maybe 20% of the top athletes that make millions of dollars.
Right.
Then you got the next bottom 20. So let's say the top 20 and the bottom 20. The bottom 20 don't make any money. Make enough to pay their bills and the to operate on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
And then you got that 60% that makes good money, but it's not retirement money.
Sure.
At the end of the day, you make pretty good money, but if you live with no income for 5 years, there's not very many people that can do that.
Right.
Agreed. So, when they say, I guess, athletes go broke, it's not that they're spending all the money or misusing it. It's just like they don't find careers that can give them back what they need.
Yeah,
so
sense.
That's just like retiring.
Sure.
So yeah.
Well, this has been a very interesting conversation, and we are grateful to have you. Joe and I were excited to sit down with you, and we appreciate the time, man. I really do.
Hey, man, I enjoyed this. You guys are top notch.
Thanks.
This is an awesome studio, man. I think I want to come back already.
Nice. Well, we know you got some Lito 2.0 stuff coming down the road
already.
And when you're going to be, when the time's right, we'll have you in. We'll talk all about it, man.
Definitely, man.
Cool.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Definitely.
All right.
Awesome.